Let's do a walkthrough of how to create different residential roof types here in Autodesk Revit. We're going to start off with the first row. We're going to perform a shed, gable, hip, and gable with dormer style roof. And we'll go ahead and get started. So first thing is I'm going to go ahead and grab underneath the architecture tab in the build panel, the roof by footprint command. It's going to ask, do we want to move the roof to level 2? We're going to select yes. And all I'm going to do here is on the shed style roof is I need to watch what defines slope. So which surface is going to be defined, and then the overhang, which we're going to put in a 1 foot overhang. And I'm going to pick the top wall here to be my slope. I'm actually going to go ahead and uncheck this and pick my other 3 walls. And then over here, I'm going to change the type to a wood rafter asphalt shingle. And the slope is going to be, as I kind of put this in here, it's going to be a 2 to 12 slope, and I can hit apply. As once I have this done, I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark. I'm going to move to my 3D view, and I'm going to be able to see there is my shed style roof. I'm actually going to change the visual style to realistic just so we can kind of see it. And I'm going to select the first wall, press the tab key. So all 4 highlight, click again, and then choose attach, and then attach top, and then select the roof. That will give us our first roof that we have going on here. We'll go ahead and move back to level 1. We're going to go now do a gable style. So now since we're in level 1, the roof doesn't show up in that particular level, but it does here with our labels. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the roof. It's going to say, do we want to move it to level 2? And we do. So you're going to see that a lot of the settings, the overhang of 1 foot, the wood rafter, are going to stay there. So I'm actually going to check define slope, and I want to choose these 2 edges. And then I'm going to uncheck define slope and then pick the 2 longer edges. And what I'm going to change this to is about a 512 slope, and you can always change this even after. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark. I'm going to go to the 3D view. You're going to see that this may not create what kind of gable roof we want to have. So what I can do is I can select the roof. I can say edit footprint, and I can always select what lines that I don't want to have defined slope and just uncheck them. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pick these other 2 lines and just check the defined slope here. And here's what's going to happen when we hit that green check mark. So it's now going to go ahead and change those walls to what we want. We can also set changes to the slope over here if we want to change any of the values. So maybe we want to go to a 612 slope and hit apply. We can go ahead and adjust those. I'm going to go ahead and select the wall, press the tab key, select again, attach top, and then select the roof. All right, the next one here, if I go back to level 1, this is going to be a hip style roof. Again, grab my roof by footprint, move to level 2. I'm going to go ahead and say define slope. The roof, the type that we're going to have is going to have slope on all 4 sides. When I hit the green check mark, go to my particular one there, you'll see that is a hip style roof. And if you need to select a wall, this one's a little deceiving because of it all being sloped. You might want to make sure that you attach those walls to the top because those do have an opening there. All right, our 4th one here and our last one in this video, I'm going to go ahead and move back to level 1. It's going to be a gable with dormer. This one's going to start off by first having, I'm going to go ahead and move to level 2. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose, this one looks very similar, starting off with having a gable roof. So again, all of our types are set up, our defined slope. I'll choose the longer edges. Again, if we need to flip that, we can always flip it like just by clicking those blue arrows. I'm going to uncheck define slope and go ahead and get these 2 set up here. And if I move to the 3D view, this looks very similar. I'm going to go ahead and attach these walls. And then in order to add the dormer, what we're going to do is we're going to move to level 2. And I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a wall. Maybe just like a interior 4 7/8 partition would work fine for this. But I'm actually going to kind of draw 3 walls here that kind of go on the outside edge. I want to make sure that kind of creates like a U shape. So what we're going to see is if I go to the 3D view, is I have these walls that are going to kind of come up to this point. The other thing is too, is that when you select the wall, you're going to be able to even rotate down below and kind of see on the inside of this is these walls are going to stick out, through into the past the second level. So, and you're going to kind of look and see that. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is actually where I'm going to select the one wall. I'm going to press the tab key, click again, and I'm going to attach base, and then I'm going to pick the roof. So it doesn't look like much happens until I rotate back down into here, and I can see that those walls disappeared. So it's because the bases are now connecting to the roof line where they meet. So, and that's kind of what we're looking for. All right, as far as this goes, here's what we're going to end up also looking at. So I'm going to go back to level 2. I'm going to choose roof by footprint. I'm going to go ahead and choose define slope. And I want to choose the shorter walls, and I want to uncheck define slope and choose the front wall. Now, the one thing I do need to do is grab a line, and I want to connect these two off the back. So that way that gives me a definitive closed loop profile of our roof line. I'm going to hit the green check mark. I'm going to go ahead and say, since it's highlighted these walls, I'm going to say go ahead and attach. And what may happen is it may even give you kind of an instance where it's hard to keep these things together. I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel real quick, and I'm going to go back to the 3D view and let's see what's going on. So really what's happening here is let's see if I can select these walls, and I can do attach top and then choose the roof line. Now the roof, the reason why we're getting this error is because we don't quite have the roof in the position that we need it to be in. So I'm going to go ahead and select this roof, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to up this base. So to about the base offset to be about 3 foot 6 inches. So you'll see that there in the base offset from level, and I'm going to hit apply. That's going to bump that roof up just a little bit. And I'm going to change that dormer slope to 612. Okay. And the reason why is now you can see the roof has been bumped up, but also if I go to connect back, it should make a connection back to this point. So let's go ahead and let's make some connections. Select this wall, press the tab key, click again, attach the top to this roof now. No errors or anything are happening there. So we're actually getting a full roof that are over these walls. And then the other thing too is we're going to probably be able to see that actually when we look at this, we're actually going to probably miss this line just a little bit. And I'll show you what happens. When I select the roof, I'm going to choose this option up here. It says join, unjoin roof. And what we're going to look for is I'm going to pick the diagonal edge on the back of this roof of the dormer here. And I'm going to pick on, and you're going to see the outline in blue here of this face. And you're going to see that what happens is that we don't quite get what we're looking for in terms of everything connecting. So what that is here is if I select my roof, and if I go back in and say, hey, let's drop this down about a few inches and hit apply, you're going to see that some of this is going to probably change just a little bit. Let's even go down to 3 foot even, and you can see that there is what we're getting. So here, maybe even 2 foot, we'll do 2 foot 7. And you can see the lower that I get, and it does depend upon, what slope and everything I have going on. This main slope is 912 and how tall that roof comes in, but it's got to have something to connect back to. Otherwise, it's not going to kind of work out for us. So just little notes there as if you try to design a roof or try to put some things in there, that those are some of the factors you have to watch out for whenever you're creating residential roofs in Revit.